In other news from around the world, once again, disappointment for our folks from across the border, brothers from across the border, who've just heard that ECB have pulled out of the upcoming tours. The women's and men's tours have been called off. Now, Simon, you've spent time there. Harsha, you spent a bit of time with Ramiz Raja as a commentator. Now he's got elevated to a different position. It doesn't really augur well for Pakistan cricket, just as they were trying to put the pieces together.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
Doull, you finish. No, Doull, you finish. You finish.
Yeah.
Because
it's a tough situation, and I completely understand where New Zealand have come from. The intelligence that they got was very credible, according to them, and you cannot ignore it. You cannot ignore those things when they happen. I feel for Pakistan. I feel for the fans of Pakistan. I feel for Ramiz Raja, for Imran Khan, for all of the hierarchy in Pakistan cricket. The issue around the transparency of the decision, I think, that was my only issue with it. Should that intelligence have been shared? Should there have been some dialogue around it? I kind of feel there should have. But again, I don't know the ins and outs of how that all works. But I do know that the New Zealand the New Zealand report, the report that came in, was from a US, UK, Australian agency that a lot of the countries use. They say was very credible, and so therefore New Zealand made the absolute right decision. I just worry about the transparency, and that's what I think Pakistan are worried about as well. How do we move forward? How do we improve? How do we get cricket back in this country like we have done and gone through a lot of trouble to get back into this country for the last year and a half? And remember, 5 teams have toured. Things have changed in the area in the last month and a half, 2 months. I understand that. But 5 teams have toured without issue. I was there. I had no issue at the start of the year when I was in Pakistan. But it's a very individual thing. And these things do crop up on a daily basis. And different intelligence comes at different times. How do they move forward without knowing what the intelligence was and without having any information? I think that's very difficult from a Pakistan point of view. What New Zealand cricket did and what the New Zealand government did, 100% behind and absolutely agree with. Player safety is paramount, absolutely paramount. But as soon as New Zealand pulled out, there was no way England were ever going to go, because they use the exact same intelligence agencies. So it was never, ever going to go ahead, as far as I'm concerned.
No doubt in my mind at all that England were not going to go. The moment New Zealand withdrew, England were going to withdraw. My only submission to Doull is we understand this game, some better than the others, but we don't understand the world of international of all that goes with tours and sharing international security. So I don't know if it was shareable information, but if I was a Pakistan fan, yes, I would be asking exactly that question. Say, please tell us, because we've gone out of the way to make you feel safe. Please tell us what it is. We'll tell you if it's credible or no. But Doull's point about it being changing from person to person is valid. Some people are more adventurous. Some people are more insecure. And you cannot be in that environment. So I can understand what New Zealand did. But just remember one thing. Sometimes in our countries, and that's something that Doull doesn't have to experience, in our countries, everything gets clothed in rhetoric. So we take our position first and then start to search for something that will justify our position.
Yeah.
All I want to tell people is, from what I've met, the Pakistani cricket fan is absolutely the same, is no different from any cricket fan in the world. He or she, increasingly she, has waited 10 years to watch home cricket. And then it started to come in. But the crucial thing was not going to be Zimbabwe or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh. The crucial thing was going to be New Zealand, because of what happened on an earlier tour there. I don't know if Doull was around that tour.
I wasn't there then, but I've talked to guys that were, and their memories are pretty horrendous.
Now, Australia, England, both of them were due to go. There was Australia due to go to Pakistan as well later in the year. So now all that is gone, and suddenly Pakistan are back to thinking, where is our next cricket going to come from? Are the players going to come in and play the PSL? that I don't think that is an individual decision, not a country to country, government to government, team to team decision. That's up to each individual to assess risks and go. But they will start to worry about that because the PSL coming to Pakistan was just unbelievable for the fan there. The fan there wanted to say, look, we have our own thing. You know, you've got the IPL, we've got our PSL. It was a matter of great pride for them. Now, we have to wonder if that gets affected. All I will say in the end is, we all say don't mix politics and sport. It is impossible. Because sport is such a mass activity, because sport plays with people's emotions, sport will never ever get completely independent of the political situation around. We've seen that with the Olympics, 80, 84, the Soviet bloc pulled out 1 year, the NATO countries pulled out 1 year. So till such time as there are a political situation develops there, we're all sitting here. We can talk cricket, but we'll all be in the dark.
Yeah, it's pretty much something you could go back to Munich in 1972 when if you were a political correspondent, you'd be just as qualified to cover it as a sports correspondent.
Just one final thing. Sport is an easy target. Because when you hit sport, suddenly it travels around the world. Everyone sits up and takes notice. You hit a business, it happens all the time. You know, there's so many times you hit a business, you ban businesses from doing things. China, there's an upheaval in business going on at the moment. Suddenly India might say, we're not going to allow there was some Chinese products not allowed in India. Businesses can recover and whatever. Sport is an easy and very visible target.
And hence a tougher job for commentator turned PCB boss. Let's see his reaction to it. I mean, imagine he must be thinking right now, can I quickly sneak back into the commentary box? It was so much easier. But this is what he said. Disappointed with England pulling out of their commitment and failing a member of their cricket fraternity when it needed it most. A wake-up call for the Pakistan team to become the best team in the world, for teams to line up to play them without making excuses. Now, Harsha, maybe his second statement is coming a little bit more from the heart, because I don't think anyone doubts Pakistan's quality as a team, but you know, it's as you said, it's far bigger than that.
And they needed these games. Apart from the political aspect, they needed these games to prepare for the T20 World Cup. Look, we have in the world of international media at the moment, we get a lot of news that algorithms believe you want to see, and so you don't always know exactly what is happening in Afghanistan. We've got an idea of what is happening in Afghanistan, but we are hearing it through a certain prism. We have no idea how that impacts Pakistan, whether the borders are porous, whether security means. We are not experts, so we're not in a position to talk about that. But if there's a New Zealand player who's feeling insecure, yes, this is a long way back up now for Pakistan from that point of view, not as a cricket team, but from the point of view of getting to play there again.